Bore welcome to another episode of This Is Sevens. And we're back here in the Welsh Institute of Sport here in Cardiff. They've been very kind letting us use the gym again to show you a lower body gym session. If you haven't checked out the previous upper body session, there should be a link up here. So this is a pretty standard pre-season type lower body session, and you can mix it and adapt it as you wish. We've got a mixture of explosive and strength-based exercises, which is a nice mix for rugby. So the first bit of the warm-up, we're on the bike, we're going to do a nice easy 5-minute spin, gradually increasing the pace. You can add in a couple of 6-second bursts, but remember this isn't a fitness session. And then we move on to a 3-exercise circuit, looking to get our muscles and our joints ready to lift. The first is a squat sequence, where we're going to do an RDL, into a deep squat, into a crow pose, back up into an overhead squat for 1 rep. The second exercise is a Cossack squat from side to side. And finally, the third exercise is reverse Nordics. If you need to do any other mobility, this is your chance to do it now. So we normally use vertical jumps as our monitoring or testing before a lower body session, but they're also really good as an activation exercise. So we're taking our hands out of the equation and going for a max vertical jump. The key to this is a really quick drop before exploding up. Superset these with single leg RDLs, looking for nice control. And then take a full rest because we're looking for max height on each jump. So the first of our main lifts is a clean. You really need to be taught how to do this movement, so if you don't know how to do it, you could always put in a box jump or a broad jump. I'm going to superset these with calf raises, and we're looking for good controlled movement. Once you have finished a set, I normally take between 2.5 and 3 minutes rest because we want the quality of the cleans to be maximal. As I said in the upper body video, don't compare what you're lifting in the gym to anyone else. Start within your own capabilities and build it up over some weeks and months. And I find it really useful to keep this written down so you can see those small gains over a period of time. So into our second main lift, it's back squat, and we have 4 sets of 8 reps. I normally take a good 2 to 3 minutes rest between these as we're really working on our strength. Same as the cleans, I normally do at least 2 warm-up reps before I get into my work sets. Moving on to SuperSetD, this is the main work on our hamstrings, and they play such an important part in how quick we are. I think people are always really good at working on their quads with things like the squats and the cleans, and often hammies get neglected. When people come into the Welsh Sevens programme, I know it's the one thing that the physio and the S&C are most worried about, is how people's hamstrings will cope with a higher running load at high speed. So don't neglect your hamstrings. For this exercise, you're going to need a box or a bench. What you're trying to do is pull your heel into the bench as hard as you can, and this will raise you off the floor. We're looking to have a slight bend in the knee, but we're still under control. You also need a 30-second timer, and for 1 set on each leg, you're going to do 20 reps, 10 reps, 10 reps, 10 reps, but going every 30 seconds. The groins are another area that are under a lot of stress when you play rugby, particularly sevens, so the groin planks are aiming to look after those. So for this you need a box or a bench again, and it's essentially like a side plank except your top leg is balancing on one of these. The closer your foot is to the edge of the box or bench, the harder it's going to be. And when we're doing this exercise, we want to make sure that our hips are pushed forward. To finish off the main bulk of the session, we have an ab circuit. For rugby, we want really good core strength to help with the running load and the impacts, but also good rotational strength for things like passing or handing off on the run. The first exercise is leg lowers.
Nice.
The second exercise is side plank hip ups. The third exercise is pal-off press, where we're going to have straight arms and we're trying to resist the band pulling us back in. And finally, front plank with arm reach. Go from one exercise straight into the other, and once you finish one set, have about a minute off before jumping back in. If you need to add or take away reps or add any weight, you can do that as well. Like we did in the upper body session, we're going to finish with some prehab. The general idea being we're trying to strengthen joints or muscles which are vulnerable to avoid injury. I've been working on my soleus, so I'm going to add 3 sets of 10 at the end of the session.
2.
And that's it, a lower body session that we would do as professional rugby players. If you have a go at this session or you have any questions, then let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, give it a like. If you want to see more, please consider subscribing. We're hoping to get our website up and running soon, and we'll put this on as a free PDF to download. Diolch yn fawr.
Nice.
Quick disclaimer, please use this session as a guide. If you need help with technique, then contact a professional, either a PT or someone similarly qualified, wherever you gym. Also, start with a manageable weight. You can increase as you go through the weeks. You don't need to be a hero straight from the start.
Yeah.